Well, Pellegrino played, the last 20 some odd minutes, and Nico did well. As he gets more experience, I think he'll obviously get a little fitter at games at this level and play a little quicker. But he's a kid with some talent. You saw some good plays, some good passes on his part, so that's encouraging. Pellegrino's a goal scorer. He's got a good nose for the goal, knows how to get in good forward positions, and nice to see him finishing today. He's had a couple of chances during the year that he hasn't put in the back of the net, so it's good to see that he got a goal today. And obviously Martinez, 3 goals, Chicho a goal, and Espinoza. So a good afternoon, but let's be fair. I don't think that's a fair scoreline today. That's not a 6-1 game, but I'm going to take it, and if we can schedule this game every 30 years, we'd be in good shape.
You want to follow up? Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, just obviously 29 years ago today was that first MLS game.
It was 29 years?
29, yes.
So what's this 30 they're talking
Well,
about?
30th MLS season.
30th season.
So the
Okay.
league is, I think, yeah.
I only have 10 fingers, so this has been challenging.
But just thinking, today, in terms of the result, 29 years ago, that result, just how far the league has come, I mean, your thoughts there?
Yeah, the league has come. I think in a lot of ways, obviously the talent in the league has improved. The American player is considerably better. The facilities at some of our clubs are world class. We have beautiful stadiums, great training facilities, and good coaches. So the league is moving forward. I think the World Cup is going to be exciting for the sport in this country, and it's going to be a big boost to MLS, because I think we're going to see some real players coming to MLS for the 2027 season.
Christian Babcock, Mercury News.
Hi, Briscoe here. You mentioned how the league has grown. I think every player who scored today was an international. You have a guy like Josef who's basically chosen to spend his prime years in this league.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about how this league has become a destination for some of the best players in the world now?
Well, that's not unusual in any league. If you look at the EPL, you look at Man City. How many English players are playing at Man City or Liverpool or so that's top leagues try to attract the top players. I think it's still a mission of this league, and I'm very much in favor of is to get Americans developed. So even today, we see 2 young players in the midfield for us, in LaRue and Verhoeven. We got Ricketts in, and obviously in the back line we have Romney as an American player, and Harks as well. But I think that's an important part of it as well, to continue to grow the sport in our country and develop our players as well.
How is the feel of today's game different compared to 29 years ago?
Well, the field was a hell of a lot better than the one Spartan Stadium. No one was running into walls. I think the field was like 60 yards wide. It had a big crown on it. But that was the start to the league. We didn't, in a lot of ways, we didn't know any better. But so that's progress. You just look at some of these stadiums and facilities in the league today. It's fantastic, and I would imagine we're going to continue to have some kind of expansion, probably in a smaller degree, and finally be settled into a plan as to how we move forward after the World Cup and all. But it's been a real challenge, and the support from, I said this the other day, the support that Lamar Hunt and Robert Kraft and Phil Anschutz gave this league in tough times kept it afloat. And that's a big story, which no one even talks about, but that's a big story, and got to give those gentlemen a lot of credit. And today we have great ownership.
Robert Jonas, Quakes episode.
You mentioned the score maybe was a little lopsided, and yeah, there were a few goals at the end there, but your team looked very on poise in that first 30 minutes. What was it about this DC team that you felt you could take advantage of?
Well, the DC team, I think the first 10 minutes of the game had an advantage on us. I thought they came out well. They pressed us up high. Second half they started and got a real good chance. So that it could have been 3-2, and then you see people get a little nervous at that point. So I think the score line's a little unfair, but they're a team that they'll be fine as they move forward. A starting point to have the best goal scorer in the league doesn't hurt you. So I think they're gonna find ways to win games and be very competitive.
Kevin Wynn, SF Skater.
Hey Bruce, what are you learning about managing a striker like Joseph, and like what pleased you the most about how he got his goals today?
Well, Joseph's a 9. He's a pure 9, and he has a great nose to the goal. I think some of our issues in our first 6 games, well, Joseph missed one of the games with international duty. We haven't found him. We haven't noticed some of the runs he's made, and today it was a little bit clearer to our players. So he's getting some chances, and he scored 3 goals. Could have had a 4th one right at the end. So that's a real positive. I've been around players like Joseph in my career, so I have a good sense of how they're thinking. I said to him the other day, he's saying I'm not getting the ball enough. I said, well, we don't have Lionel Messi playing on this team, and he said, I never scored a goal from Lionel Messi. So I said, that's good. And he's a good player. I had Marco Echeverri here this weekend, who I absolutely love, and one of the greatest players in the history of this league. And I talked to him about some of his counterparts in South America. So I love these players. They come here and they really buy into the league. So it's really rewarding to have those kind of players on the team.
And a quick follow-up, and someone like Bo LaRue, how he stormed onto the scene. Do you think he would have been discovered in '96, '95, whenever the league started?
He probably would have been playing American football. He's 21 years old, so he wasn't even born then. But a local kid that probably, and I don't know the full story with our academy and all, but I think he got pushed out at some point. I don't know the full story, but he's a talented kid, and he gets a little bit more experience. He's going to be a real good player.
Neighbor Radio.
Oscar Rojo, another player who got minutes tonight. He usually played as a fullback, but he played very well tonight, in my opinion, as a center mid. What do you see in him that allows him to
I think, again, remember this is we've been together for 3 months as a team. I don't know them completely. They don't know me. But as I watch Oscar all the time, I just said last week, this guy's a 6'8". He's not a wing back. He's not a right back. He's got a lot of energy. He's got a pretty good feel. He had some very good passes today. So I think we're going to continue to look at him there. He's a talented kid. I think he's 18, 19 years old. Again, they're very ambitious. They want to play right away, but we got to be a little bit patient. But to have Nico on the field today at 19, 20 years old, to have Oscar on at 18, to have the LaRue on at 21, that's a positive statement. And the fact that we have some experienced international players that help move them along is a positive. So we'll see. This season, it's going to be a little bit like this. It's not going like that. It's going to be good times and bad times, and we're just going to try to make things better. That's all we can do. We'll try to work hard every day and try to get better.
Jeff Weiser, we'll go back to Christian.
Coach, first, congrats on the win. We talked the last couple of weeks about just not being able to find the back of the net the way you guys wanted to. How does a win like this kind of continue to build confidence, especially going forward?
Well,
you also mentioned.
I would say that Monday, next Saturday, will be a good test to see where we are when we play, one of the better teams in the league, obviously, and on the road. And that'll be challenging. So we'll see what kind of progress we're making. The last road trip didn't go real well, so let's see how we're ready to play this game in Los Angeles.
But a quick follow-up also with Josef, him getting the hat trick today. Does that take a weight off his shoulders, so to say? As far as
Yeah, I think so. No different than, this is a basketball season right now. Basketball players scoring points and making shots that you get confidence, and we need our strikers to have confidence, so that's positive.
Christian.
Bruce, when you talked about the future of this league, how there's still such an opportunity for growth. When you look at this stadium, look at how the fans showed up today. What do you think? Do you think MLS can challenge the big 4 leagues in the U.S. for supremacy? What do you think is the potential in 10 years or 30 years?
Well, I will never say this, never mention this person's name, but an NFL owner told me that he thinks in 20 years that the MLS could surpass the NFL. And I think that was more related to maybe even a safety issue than anything because of some of the issues they've had. But would I bet the house on that? No. But it's just an indication that the sport has been accepted in this country. I remember years ago, and I'm talking about in the 70s, I had one of my friends is an NFL Hall of Famer, and he started understanding soccer a little bit, but most of the athletes in this league and in this country never accepted it, and now everyone's bought into the sport. I think Beckham helped it for sure, but soccer is recognized as really a major sport now in our country. There's 5 majors, and not 4 anymore. There's 5. So that's a positive. You know, we're making progress, but you know, we're different in every country in the world. So, you know, we're not in a country where it's football and what's the other, cricket, right? You know, we have a lot of competition. You know, so that's the way it is in this country. You can't operate thinking you have to be number one. You got to operate thinking that you're part of the sports entertainment business.
Brian and Paul will call it.
So kind of lost in all the offense today was really the play of Daniel in that back line where, especially the double save, and I think 52.
Big play.
Yeah, 52 on.
3-2, people start getting nervous.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, he's a very good goalkeeper. If he maintains a consistency in the goal, he'll be among the best keepers in the league.
And how is his leadership back there kind of directing the back line as well as Bruno and then Romney? How are they learning to gel
It's good.
together?
He can be a little bit more vocal. You know, we still have a few language barriers at times. You know, no issues with Bruno or Dave, but Rodriguez a little bit. And you know, it's getting better. This is still, you know, we're in the early going here. You know, we don't know. Well, hopefully that it all adds up in the end. We have a good team. It remains to be seen, but. Daniel's a big part of it. He's a very talented goalkeeper.
Last one, Paul.
Paula Maruri, 10 a.m. Bruce, congratulations for the victory. How would you remember, how are you going to remember this anniversary game in the future with 6 goals? Thank you so much.
Well, it's a good memory for sure, and I know this was a, you know, we had a dinner last night with some of the former DC United and San Jose players, and we talked about, we could reflect a little bit now how amazing it was 30 years ago. And if I recall properly what the game looked like 30 years ago and looks like today on the field, the actual technical part, it's night and day. And to see the progress in the league is remarkable. And it's something, you know, I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about because I'm an idiot probably half the time. And you know, I was away from the league for 9 years with the national team, so I wasn't always in the in and outs of MLS. And but you know, when you get back into it and you see the progress and the talented players around the league, it's a real positive. And to see that owners are now interested in investing not only in facilities but players, you know, and trying to have a reasonable business plan to make the thing move forward in the right way. So it's been tremendous to see the growth of the league, and today for all of us, even DC United, I know they can't be pleased walking away, losing the game today, but it's progress, and you know, I think we need to be pleased with that.
Last one. Better see this in the paper. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, Bruce, I just wanted to follow up, you know, with that you were the DC United manager, you know, did this game bring up any emotions? Were you able to reconnect with anyone in particular?
Well, I was out last night with Marco Echeverry, John Hawks, Jeff Agus, and Sean Medved, and Troy joined us. He was at the dinner, so that's a real positive. You know, I've lived in Virginia the last 40, 50 years. So I lived in Northern Virginia even when I was a national team coach. My main residence in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I'm around the DC United club in a little way, and they're my they're my first team in this league. So I'll always have a special place in my heart for DC United.
Yeah, didn't stop you from beating them.
Yeah, I mean we're at a point now we got to win games, so you know I can't worry about DC United on game day.